hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk with Carrie Jemii. I'm sorry I ran late today. I had some, again, technical difficulties. Actually, I was going to surprise you guys and be in a new space, thinking it was going to have better lighting and everything. But, however, that didn't happen. So I am sorry to be late, but we still got a good show for you tonight. We're doing Let's Talk Relationships. So last week we did being single, right? Without a boo, right? Now we're talking about being in relationships and the purpose behind relationships, because it is a little different than just, dating just to be dating. We want people to be dating with purpose. So to help navigate that conversation, I have my homegirl, Kentavia Johnson, and a brother to me, Tarik Causay. Let me add them to the show with me. How you guys doing?
What's up?
So I see Tarik want to be cool with the shades. I am so grateful to have you guys join in today to have this conversation and to help me navigate it. So I know people already know how it goes. Put your questions in the comments boxes in the box, and we will get to every question as time permits. Because we did run a little bit behind, so I want to be, respectful of everybody's time. But to get us warmed up, I want my guest to answer this first question. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm as ready as I'm a bee, girl.
Why do you get into relationships? We'll start with ladies first. Tavi, why do you get into relationships?
Why do I get into relationships?
Mm-hmm.
Like why I want a man?
Right. Oh. Or why do you want to be in a relationship? Yeah, because you can date.
Oh, okay. Why would you want to be in a relationship? Oh, you know what? I'll be honest. Right now, the age where I'm at now, companionship. I'm dating to be married. I would like to be married. That's why I'm getting into a relationship, hoping that the relationship works.
Awesome. Okay. Same question for you, Tarik.
Well, like the young lady said, it's the age that we're in right now. We just want to be able to connect with somebody on a different level. It's past that high school level, the college level. We just want to be able to grow with somebody and be able to be free with one person instead of with multiple people.
Absolutely. So what's since you said multiple people, what's the disadvantage of some people being in multiple relationships? Mm-hmm. So what's the disadvantage of being in multiple relationships? Because I
don't have the patience juggling more than one woman. Back in the day, that was difficult then, but that's my patience is bad with that. And then trying to keep up with certain things, trying to keep up with secrets. Now, that's one thing if we being open, but I just chose not to do that. Just where I'm at right now, I just don't want to do that. That's what it really boils down to.
I would say, I'd probably say that same thing. Having the patience. I don't have the patience to deal with different personalities right now. I don't have the patience for that. The patience for that, I'll say. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So if you're dating with a purpose, right? You both said you dating to, get married. We talked about this last week, but I kind of want to bring it up because there was a lot of different opinions about it. So how long do you feel it is too long to be in a relationship if your purpose is to get married? Let's start with you, Tarik.
Oh man, you will put me on blast. Let me be honest. You know what? Because you have to really learn a person. You have to be friends first. But sometimes us men, I'm gonna tell you, off back men, we know if we could be with this woman for a long time. We know right off back. I'm not gonna even lie to you. It's just the whole thing of doing what we're supposed to do to keep it going, to keep it flowing, and to be open. But we know right off back if we can be with this woman. We know, trust me. Niggas sit up here and act like they don't, but we do. We definitely know. So it shouldn't even take that long. It's just at the time as we building, we putting everything in process. It's like we already mapping out how the ring gonna look, how would this be, how can we do
wow.
An intelligent man would. Niggas that's on game, excuse my language, they're not gonna vibe like that.
Okay.
That's interesting. I actually heard that. I definitely heard that before that most men they pretty much know once they've gotten involved with a woman, they're like, okay, yep, you long term. I see you. No, you ain't. Or you know what? I know I can just text you, and be like, so what you on tonight?
Exactly.
But I think that's something that when you're dating with intention, I think you need to be honest, and I think you need to have the courage to be honest, and I think you need
Yeah.
to be upfront. And I think as women, a lot of the time we're afraid to say, like, men can come into the room and be like, I ain't looking for nothing right now. I'm just looking, I'm just looking to do. And we be like, knowing good and well, we looking for marriage. We waiting on the husband. And we'd be like, I mean, I understand, me too. No, sis, don't me too. Be honest and say, oh, okay, well, that's cool. No problem. Well, you know what? I am dating with intention and dating to be married. I ain't saying I'm getting married 6 months from now, because you gotta be you have to, lay that out on tape, because sometimes they get a little like, well, just calm down, bro. I ain't saying you my husband. I'm just saying I'm dating with intention, and I'm dating. And and that's what it is. We're dating. I'm getting to know you, you getting to know me. And guess what? Don't be mad if I'm getting to know somebody else too on the side, because we're dating, because I'm dating with intention. And so
that comes with maturity.
you have to be honest about that and be okay with saying, like, dating doesn't mean you're having sex with everybody. You're just dating. You're going out on dates. You're getting to know someone. You're building a friendship, or trying to, or seeing like, oh, you know what? We really don't have much in common, but the fact that you look good, I look good, and
good,
again, like we just stated. What you say?
I said maybe the sex is just good, things like that.
Right, the sex is good, or I'm like, man, you look good, like, whew, that hat and them gym shoes, okay.
Wait a minute. So you just said the dating doesn't include the sex, so it includes sex. That's what you're saying?
No, I was saying mostly if you're in a relationship with somebody and you realize that y'all intentions are wrong, you have to be strong enough to let go of a relationship if it's not bonded on the right things. If you're bonding because it's good sex or good something else, then and you don't have nothing in common, like she was saying, then that's something that you need to end if you're dating with intentions and a purpose. Okay. I mean, in a relationship with intentions.
Right. And not necessarily not just in common, but just saying, you know what, we had 2 different times in our lives, and it's okay. It's perfectly fine. It's all right. It's okay to have the courage to say, it's cool, that's not what you're looking for now, but you're cute though. I see you around. It's okay. Or you have to really be focused and really be strong to say, like, okay, well, this man has already told me, or this woman, because it's women too that be like, you know what, that's not where I'm at right now. I'm just looking to date. And you have to have that in your mind to say, okay, she's just looking to date, or he's just looking to date. And okay, I'm gonna go with the flow right now. And you as long as you have that open line of communication, that's something we don't do. But go ahead, girl, so I don't get to talking so much. I'll ask you that question.
We had a question that came up, and it was on the line of where I was going with it, to ask Tarik, because we're talking from a lady's perspective, but it is very difficult to come to a man and be like, oh, so we're in a relationship. It's been 2 years.
You don't. You don't. You don't. You let him tell you. You let him tell you. Go ahead. Because I'm old school.
Right. But you go back to that. What if he don't tell you and it's been 3 to 4 years? So do you not sit there and let the relationship grow to the next level because you can't have that conversation? Like Nashawn is asking, is that something you said in the very beginning? I think everyone knows in the very beginning that they should set expectations. Now, whether those expectations change because the relationship changes, anything can happen. A parent can pass, somebody gets pregnant. It can derail the situation. But I think intention should be known in the beginning. But going back to the question, how do you have that conversation with a significant other? That's a guy.
Well, if I take all day, I would expect my woman to be like, hey. But see, just knowing myself as a man, we should even, because we already know if it's been talked about, if you get little clues and little, when you're looking at shows, because a lot of things when we sitting down with women and we looking at shows, they can start to comparing themselves or talking about what they girl doing. We already know what it is. So it's like based off of that, when it get it to like 2 and 3 years, you really know if I'm around this woman 2 or 3 years and I'm really not messing with nobody else, yeah, I should tell her to just pop the question. It's like, what's the purpose? Unless now you have some relationships where the men and the women is just fine with not doing the ring thing. They'll be together for a long time and they're not doing the traditional thing. which is
right.
on them. I don't knock either one.
Right.
However, if the marriage thing comes up, I'm willing to do it. If you just want to do it long term, where we just focus on this without the paper and all these things, I can do that. But it just depends on the individual. So I think the man should put it out there first. We know what's going on. Stop.
Right. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
depending on what type of woman you're dating, because you know what type of woman you're dating, because they are in categories. So you know if you date a woman that wants that, you know, that type of trajectory. Like Chad said, have the conversation also to just ensure that you're not setting yourself or the relationship up for failure.
So you have that conversation in the beginning. That's your first day. That's your first day conversation. And I think that, and I think so. I think first, second, in the beginning, you're having this conversation if you're dating with intention. Like if you're really setting yourself up to say, you know what, I'm dating to be married. Again, I'm not doing it to be married in 3-6 months, but this is what I'm dating for. So you have to have that conversation in the beginning. You have to have that courage to say it. And you also have to, if you start to date this person and you're noticing like, oh, okay, we spending a lot of time together. Okay, you need to keep revisiting that conversation. You can't be scared to keep revisiting that conversation to really say, because I know you asked in the beginning, like, how as a woman do you ask that conversation? I think men begin to show with their actions too, but they also need to communicate it as well and talk. Like, you know, you need to get somebody to say, like, you know what, I'm really liking you. Like, oh, okay, I like you. I'm feeling this. Okay, well, what does it? Don't let him stop when I'm feeling this. What does that mean? What do you mean by you feeling this? Tell me more. Tell me more about you feeling this. Give me a little bit more to that so I'll understand. Because anything left, you there's room for me to start having my own imagination, him to have his own imagination. No, let's lay it out on the table. Yeah. What do you mean by you're feeling this? What is it that you mean like you're really, you know, you're really starting to like me? And you know, that's where you go. You gotta keep having those conversations. I saw somebody say checkpoints. That's right. We a checkpoint. Few miles up, we're gonna check in. Yeah, we're gonna keep checking in. A couple of miles up, one more mile. We checking in every few miles. You gotta you gotta check in every few miles. Yeah.
With the communication.
Exactly. So we have another question here. What would you say is the main root of a real bond that builds a lasting relationship?
Who going first?
Communication.
Okay.
What you say?
You said who was going first. Go ahead.
Oh, you said who's gonna go first. I'm sorry. Communication and being able to have hard conversations and bounce back from
them. Okay. Tarik.
That's in that punch bowl as well. So I'm gonna add to that punch bowl. It still comes with trust in how things happen in situations, because people could be, you really know how a person is going to deal with you when things get rough at the end of the day. Because when everything is sweet, that's what dealing with friend relationships, you know, with family. When things get rough, that's when you really know when it comes to this, that you can really be with this person. Because if they can see me at my worst, my downness, and still back me up and roll with me. Because it's the little things. It's the real simple things that really, you know, that you're supposed to focus on. Because everybody can be, I mean, I can make this amount of money. She can make this amount of money. But men don't be really thinking about how much money a woman makes. We shouldn't. I know I don't. I really don't care what she's making, as long as she's doing what she has to do to maintain herself. And we look out at each other, because whatever money that we are making, it benefits to both of us. So my whole thing is, we just have to pay attention to the little things. And as a man, we're going to let you know off back. If we see something that's not going on that we don't like, we should be able to tell you. And if it's not being fixed and not being worked on, you got to move on. And I expect that vice versa from the woman. Because it just builds down to communication is the number one thing. What I don't like, what I do like, can we do this? Can we agree to disagree? That's where it has to be.
That's the hard, those hard conversations. Exactly. Everybody not ready for a hard conversation. You can tell people all day. People can tell you all day long, tell me what I ain't doing right. But you know, sometimes when you have that conversation, that's when it goes left. Yeah, people really don't want it. So you have to be, but then a lot of times you want to give it though. Especially in the woman case, we always want to tell a man what we ain't gonna do, when we're gonna do it, how we're gonna do it, and how many times we're gonna do it. But when he comes to you and he tells you those same things, you have to be ready to receive it, especially if you know, again, if this is someone that you're trying to build with. And of course, you and I'm leaving out the, a man that's trying to tear you down, and a man that's, being abusive, things like that. I'm leaving that out the picture. Let's not even talk about that. Let's really talk about someone who you like. Oh, okay, I'm being intentional with this person. We want to build something. We're on the same page. We've said together like, oh, we desire to get married, at the end of maybe this road or a road with someone. So, here we're dating. So when you start to have those conversations, you have to be willing to say, he might tell me something too. He might tell me something that he's like, like saying, I really don't like when you tell me, don't worry about it. He like, that make me feel some type of way. And, and we get offensive, sometimes as women. So, just like I said, being able to have those hard conversations and bounce back.
I agree with everything you said. Another thing that I would just add before we go to the next question is something that's a main root also is having aligned goals. You have to be aligned with the individual, whether it is the expectation of marriage, but just what you want to do in your life. Some people say they want to travel the world, while other person like, no, I just want to stay put and build, or I just like to do this. So having something that's in common that's really strong, other than a strong friendship, I think is a main root to a good relationship too that will last a long time. And this question is a good segue to next week, because we will be talking to married couples who will talk about those things that it took for them to have a lasting marriage. And they're not going to be all, different levels. So it's going to be a good conversation about that too. So we got a question here from Jada. Do you have to have an end goal? Can you have a committed companion as long as the rules are clear? I think, Tarik, you hinted on that about saying that some people just date with be in a relationship with the same person because that's what they want to do. They don't want to have a ring. They don't. And I mean, to me, that's real popular in Chicago. I will say Chicago is really known for being in a relationship for thousands of years. Like, and they don't care about getting married. But when I came down south,
I need to see data. I need to see data on that. I need to see data on that.
But when I came down south, marriage was more prevalent with younger people. I mean, and I think it's how I don't know if it's the environment or that family was more important in the South or something. I don't know. But definitely. I think in certain parts of the world is different. But you guys can chime in.
Go ahead, Miss Lady.
Well, all right, I guess I'm Miss Lady. Okay. Do you have to have an end goal? I actually was kind of confused with that question. I'm sorry. What do you mean? Like, do you have to have an end goal? Can you give me a question one more time?
Well, I think what she meant with the end goal was, what's the goal are you setting this goal for marriage? You know what I'm saying? Or are you just setting this goal, just keep going and just flowing to the point we don't get married? That's
right.
Okay.
You're doing wife and husband stuff, but the thing is, the paper things is not there. It's not the traditional European way of marriage. You know what I'm saying?
If I'm gonna go first, I will say that I think it depends on the two people. You all make that decision, don't you? And I think that's what we sometimes start to do.
It has to be mutual.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said you two who are in a relationship, you make that decision. That's not for society to make. That's not for us to make. That's not for me to make. If you say your end goal is not to be married, but you just want companionship, you just want a partner, then that's what you say. And if the person like, oh, me too, look at that. Hey, look at that. We're going to be partners. That's it. We don't need no piece of paper. Then that's what you all decide to do. And that's what you do if it makes you happy.
Right.
I don't think and again, as long as the rules are clear, not just the rules are clear, the rules are agreed upon. Both of you all feel that same way. And you go from there. That's just like when you get with someone and you say, you know what, I don't want any more children. And they like, oh, well, I do.
Got to figure it out.
They may get a little shaky. So you got to figure it out. So that's the same thing. So, no, marriage is not the end goal for everyone. I have friends who do not want to get married or do not want to get married again. And as long as they find someone who is in agreement with them, who feel the same way, have at it. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your life.
Right.
Right.
Just said marriage is a contract. That's funny.
It is.
Though.
It is. I mean, other cultures treat it like that. In India, you know, they even do arranged marriages because it's such a business contract. Like, you're gonna marry somebody that has money like us, or whatever the case may be, because it's about progression. Marriage is progression, and I think that's another thing that some certain cultures don't do, and we are kind of like behind the 8 ball because we don't understand the importance of a strong marriage and family surrounding environment, if that
Because you
makes sense.
saying because I want to marry for love, because you want to say because I want to marry for love, I'm behind the 8 ball.
As my mother say, you don't marry for love, honey, because you don't. You don't marry just for love, because there's gonna be days that you're gonna hate each other. So
absolutely. I truly believe there are days you like, I don't like you, and they like, I don't like you either. Well, we good. I don't like you, but okay. All right, girl.
All right, so we can move to another question. Someone said you have to know each other's love language. That's a good one. Added to the bowl, love language. Yeah. Someone said your upbringing makes a difference.
It does.
Would you say nowadays appeal and sexual feelings have dominated communications in these short fuse relationships?
That's a question.
I would say social media has.
Exactly.
I would say that's what I would say. I would say social media has dominated because I think we spend so much time looking at other people's relationships and this hashtag relationship goals that we forget that that's their relationship and you have to build your own relationship. So I don't think that appeal, but again, okay, but yeah, maybe something that may be appealing to you. So you're searching for what you think you want. Like you see something out there and you're like, oh yeah, I want that. Because we look at people all the time and be like, ooh, I want to be like them.
Right.
But that's them. And there's nothing wrong. Don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong. I admire some of my friends and family marriages, absolutely. But I understand that I have to have my own relationship. And I have to have the relationship that works for Tavy and whoever my partner is. I cannot, again, I use my sister and my brother-in-law, as an example. I think they had a wonderful marriage, but I can only pull pieces, and more so the pieces that I'm pulling are the morals and the values that they upheld around marriage. But I'm never going to be Tina, and my boo ain't never going to be Patrick. So what they had was what they had. And I think that's what contributes to, I believe the question was short fuse relationships, us trying so hard to be somebody else and not even realizing that that's what we're doing because we're so focused on, well, why you can't be like so-and-so husband and, or so-and-so boyfriend or so-and-so girlfriend or so-and-so wife. Well, I'm me. And so that's where that friendship comes in when we, as my mama would say, is he coating you? So as you're getting coated, you're building a friendship and you all are getting to know each other and you're deciding during that dating time, like, I don't think I like that. I can't deal with that. Or you're deciding like, yes, I can deal with that, and understanding the priority too. I think we put our priorities to the side. I always say my motto, it's been since the 20s. Everybody you date ain't your spouse. That's I tell everybody that. Everybody you date is not your spouse. So you shouldn't treat them as such. And then 2, if you have a list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you got your list of, because we all got our, these are the things that I desire in a relationship. If they hitting, let's just say 6 through 10, and 1 through 5 is lacking. Hope I did my math right. 1 through 5 is lacking. You gotta realize you have to ask yourself if 1 through 5 is a priority, if it's very important. Right.
That's leading to your question from your girl. She just said, what are some of the non-negotiables in a relationship? Because that's what you're saying is true. Like that's how you really build those longer relationships, is because you got the non-negotiables out the way.
Absolutely. And my girl, no, you have to put your non-negotiables to the top. And what you can, and what we do is, especially as we get a little bit older and we start to really desire, like, man, I want companionship. Those non-negotiables, you start really like, well, I mean, he got or she got 6 through 10, but 6 through 10, when you really look at that list, are negotiable. But 1 through 5, not. But what we'll do is we'll flip it. And then in the long run, here you are some years later, like, Jesus, what did I do?
Like settling? Isn't that just basically
settling? Yeah, and that's it. And it's called settling. But you have to really know if this is your non-negotiable. And you have to have the courage.
Right. Which go back to also like the movie, Why Did I Get Married? Right. And he talked about that 80-20 rule. Those are like you have to, you at least need to find 80%, sometimes 80%, if you can get that. Sometimes you can't. It is up to you. But some people may accept 75 and they're okay with that. But there is this 80-20 rule. Like you get 80% of what you really want and 20% may be out there. And then you may leave your 80% for that 20%. And that's that short fuse relationship, because you could have had a long-term relationship had you just dealt with the 80% that you have, so they're looking for perfection. Because no one's they're not gonna check off everything on your list. It's just impossible for a perfect person like that.
So women
and vice versa.
Women,
go ahead.
Women have lists?
Absolutely, women have lists.
You know what's funny? I didn't make my list for a long time. I'm not even gonna lie. I was scared. I did not make a list for a long time because but one of the reasons I did not make a list for a long time, I didn't. Just because I was just like, I mean, a list. And my friends would tell me, I had one friend who really was on me, like, you need to make a list. You need to write it down. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't know. I was a little sketchy about it. But I think men have a list, but it's probably more of a mental list. Definitely. They're not really into See, you have a list, and I think it's more of a mental, because you have in your head what your non-negotiables are, and like, no, I ain't dealing with that. I ain't dealing with that.
It's logic, it's like, come on, man. I mean, it's just dealing with certain things. Some things are just universal law. It's certain things we just don't accept, certain things we just don't do, and that should be going with the same way with women. It's like, come on, man, I'm not dealing with this, and you don't have to settle. Sometimes you may deal with certain people, you give them a chance. That don't mean you settling. But when it's just something obvious that you shouldn't be trying to teach a grown-ass man or a grown woman, it's like hip-hop is dead for that. So it's like you got to move around and don't be afraid to walk away. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be that person like, man, I've been with this fool for like 3 months is too long to be dealing with an idiot. So it's like after 3 months, you like, oh, man, come on, man, I can't do this no more. Because it'll put you in a funk. And then it has you to the point where you asking yourself and questioning yourself, like, man, am I doing something wrong? And I've been there, and I'm not trying to do that again. So it's like, whatever. So it's like, once you see the issues these days, it's okay to walk the other way. You know what I'm saying? Without even going through the whole list. It's like, if you have a 10 list, once 2 of them or 3 of them is already begin, then you just cut it right off. You don't even let it get to 5. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But,
sorry, we got to keep moving, y'all. We got a couple questions.
Okay, well, let's keep moving, chat, because this can get good.
Yeah. We're gonna have time at the end when we ain't got no questions. We can go back to something. But so Diamond McNulty said, what's your criteria? So I guess he was just, commenting that you have to have criteria. And I think that's what lists look like, Tarik, for women. I don't think nobody is like that movie, Nobody's Fool, where she had her list or whatever. Yeah. But I don't that you have a list for sure. But just like you said, in the man's head, women just write it down. Like someone said, when you write it down, it kind of helped manifest it. So, but the funny thing about lists for women is that it changes. Like I wrote mine, I was maybe 23, and I was like, okay, this is what I wanted. By 30, that changed.
That's
because you be kind of superficial in what you want. Like, oh, he got to be 6 feet tall, and blah, blah, blah. As I got older, I was like,
you know it, baby. You better be 6'6".
Right. As I got older, being that I'm only 5'4", I'm like, my mother told me, as long as he's taller than you, and I was like, yeah, that's true, So your list changes based on, maturity,
experience. Your list changes based on experience. based on life, like you said, your maturity level, things that you've gone through. And I think your list becomes more of what you want, and it starts to transition into what you need. So in 30 and 35, and again, here we are approaching 40.
You by yourself. Yeah.
Okay. You approach it, baby. You on my heels. Don't even try it. You on my heels. That's 40. This me. This you. Don't even try it. Well, we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep it moving. It's all good. It goes to your it transforms to your needs, because I realized what I thought I wanted. Again, that list that I wanted in my 20s. Because again, I can go down the list, baby. 6'6", no kids. This, baby. I had it down packed. No kids.
But that's different.
Yeah. He funny. He smart. I had it all. Like, yes. And then as I got into my 30s, and now don't get me wrong, that taller than me it's still hanging on. Like, it's still hanging on. Because I mean, my thing is, who lap we sitting on? You can't sit on my lap. I mean, I need to sit on yours. And then I wear heels. But the list started to change more into what I needed as opposed to what I wanted. And then that gets back to those non-negotiables. This is a need of mine, especially if I'm looking at someone who is going to be my life partner.
Go ahead, Tarik.
Can I be devil's advocate right quick?
Sure.
Don't do it. I like a little devil's advocate. Come on.
You know what's funny is when women make these lists, and the list that you all make, it's really what y'all don't even deserve. I mean, not even deserve. It's not what you need. I'm sorry. Deserve is the wrong word. It's not what you need. Because my thing is, we can all say we want this and we deserve this and need this, but God will tell you, like, no. You know what I'm saying? He'll put that person in your life. Sometimes as us, you know how somebody always be like, yeah, well, God gonna do this, God gonna do that. God do a certain thing, but you have to play your part too. So it's like, once he put people in position, you have to realize who this person is and what they doing, instead of you focusing on, oh, well, he may be too skinny, or he not strong enough, or this or that. He may be too short, and this and that, which is nothing wrong with a preference. But sometimes we may have to go against our preference to find the one that's really for us. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I don't disagree with you. I definitely don't. I do not disagree. Come on, girlfriend, give us some more questions.
Okay, so the next question came from YouTube. She said, Mrs. Harris, do you believe there is a such thing as real love? I'm gonna answer first. I'm gonna answer. No,
you better go on the answer.
No, I do believe that it's a such thing as real love, and I think as I got older and matured, I realized that it was, because in high school and maybe even college, I think that you more infatuated with a person, because now you're moving off of what Tarik said, thinking about things that you want. Oh, girl, he got this, and we had the back in the day the car booties. Girl, he got this car. He picking me up.
It still exists.
It still exists, right? I never fell in that category, but I'm just saying certain people were like that, and so they kind of missed out the chance to find real love. Because real love to me is when you find someone that it's like, oh my God, I can't even explain it. I think it's one of those things that you just know when it's there. It's right. And I heard a pastor say, if you can define why you love somebody, then you don't love them, because love is not based on anything. It ain't based on that.
I disagree.
Because he said, okay, let's say, oh, I love my wife because she's shaped like this. So you telling me if she's not shaped like this no more, you're gonna stop loving her? He was just saying basically that your love should not be conditional, but unconditional, because those things that you may call yourself in love with can change. So you say, I'm in love with my wife because she's so funny. And then she gets dementia. She's not funny no more, right? She don't know how to be funny. Do you stop loving her because she's not funny? So he's basically saying have a deeper love for someone that is not based on something being so conditional. But you guys can answer now.
Well, I definitely believe it's a such thing. It's just, and I can describe it. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been there. However, maybe it wasn't. That's what it was, because I'm not with it no more. So maybe that's not what it was. But what I'm saying is, when you do reach that point, it is this. I wouldn't say you can't explain it. It's just hard,
right?
Because it's like something you just feel in your gut. It's like that feeling how you feel when you hungry, Yeah, we can describe it this and that, but everybody don't feel the same sensation, and it's a different thing. They may shake, and stomach may turn. It's like different feeling and different vibes when you connected like that with something, especially when you connected with people. When they draw off how you feeling, you know what they're gonna say before they say it. Y'all doing the same
Right.
thing. Y'all just laughing together. Nothing can make y'all mad. And then when other people see it, it's really when other people see it, that's when you know it's clicking. Like people will walk up to you, be like, "Man, how long y'all been together?" And this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they see you praying together and things of that situation, it's
Mm-hmm.
just certain things you know when somebody's clicking. Like you could tell when two guys are friends or when two women are friends, or it's just that vibe. It's just that spiritual vibe. And once you're in tune with yourself and have knowledge of yourself, you can just tell when people going through that type of things. You know?
Mm-hmm. Tavy, do you believe in
Well,
real love?
well, I believe in it. I do. Just call me a sucker because I believe in it. But I
You're
guess
a
I
sucker
would
for love.
say
Sucker for love.
I'm a sucker for love. So, I definitely believe in it. I think it's again, like you said, it's unconditional where someone loves you regardless. When you
Mm-hmm.
sick, when you ugly, when you at your worst, where you just like, you know
Yes,
what, I'm having a
yes.
really bad day today, and you
It's
just
true.
like, and they still like, I still love you. Again, like we went back to today I may not like you but I love you. I still love you. It's unconditional. The same with your children. There's some days
Mm.
um you don't like them but you still love them. So I think loving, you definitely change with the person. You love it. You love
Yeah,
them.
Juan
Sorry.
Williams said right here. He said, "Love is how you adjust to change," and that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
Okay.
true.
Yeah. I love to hear a man talk about love. Go on ahead and talk about relationships because we don't hear that often. We get so many women sided, but I love to hear a man who really talks about, relationships.
Hmm.
Okay, girl, what else you got for us?
Okay. Let's see. It's a lot of comments in here. So, okay. Someone said, "How do you adjust to change in your relationship?"
Tavi.
Okay. I like how you throw some stuff out on me. Okay, so how do you adjust to the change? I think one, you have to be willing to. That's one. That's first and foremost. You have to be willing to adjust to the change. And I don't know if this is if you're speaking about change of the other person, because I think that we're all ever evolving. I think that we're all, finding our niches and growing as a person. Maybe changing our personalities, where we were in our 20s. If you've been with someone who you've been with since their 20s, they're going to be different in their 30s. Their goals may be different. So I think it's a thing of you got to be willing to change with that person. I think that and vice versa. I think there needs to be those checkpoints that we were talking about, those communicating with the person, like, hey, I noticed that you don't do these things anymore, or that person comes and says, you know what, I don't like this anymore.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and you being willing to change with them and understand why they don't like it anymore, or where they're going and what their end goal is. But I think the first thing is adjusting to it, is being willing and open to it, open
Mm-hmm.
to the person changing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if the person that you're with is changing for the good. This
Exactly.
isn't a change of that that they're trying to change to be a better person. They're working on themselves and vice versa. So be willing to do that. And again, it's that communication, talking with them, especially if you notice something like something different, or
Right.
you know when you change it, when you are too. So it is
Mm-hmm.
something that you need to come to your spouse and say, or whoever it is that you're with, and say like, I'm thinking about doing some things different. I'm doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
My two
Yeah,
cents.
I think you adjust, like you said. Like my mom, she always tease and she say she married a usher, and now my father is a pastor. So
Yeah, yeah.
well,
Hmm.
people will change. Their purposes will change. That's
Hmm.
why I said in the beginning when I talked about even true love and things that you want, your criteria in line of your goals. If you with the right person, those changes automatically shift with your
Right.
too.
Right.
Because whether or not she would wanted to marry a usher, and married a pastor, she's a beautiful first lady. She fits the role perfectly. So it's like God knows if you don't fight against his destiny and you align yourself with what he wants for you, then you whatever happens and changes in the relationship, that person changes right with you. Like I've seen people who were in car accidents and their spouse couldn't walk no more, but that wife didn't leave, you know what I'm saying? Or, because she changed with his change because she was in love with him and that's what she wanted to be with. And she wasn't in love with him because he could walk. She was in love with him because of who he was and his personality. So I think, and for me, I think you just adjust when you're with the right person. If you're not with the right person, if they adjust, you like, hey, I'm done, because you don't want to be with you wasn't with the right person. So
yeah, because Tabby hit all on the major keys, and and the thing is, the creator will test you. The creator will put you in those situations to see if your stuff is for real. He does it all the time. So I'm just saying, like, you can't walk no more. God will be like, just real quick, just fix it. You be like, oh my God, I'm gonna stay with this person. They can't do this no more. They can't say this and all this, But it's just being connected. It's being spiritually connected, being a righteous person, and just knowing your partner and who you with, just make it flow. So change is never bad. Change is only bad if you're going backwards, and it shouldn't even take that long. Once you see something out of whack, like you said, that's when the communication come in. Then you ask, like, hey, man, what you doing? You didn't do this before. Where is this coming from? Is it something on your mind? Did somebody say something to you? Is this something from back in the day? Is something I need to know about? Then y'all can work on it.
Right.
If you can't work on it, you have the right to move along because you can't let nobody destroy your positive circle. I don't care how bad they may be in bed. I don't care how good they may cook. I don't care how they handle this and this and that. It's like you can't let nobody destroy your happiness. You can't because it won't work. It won't work at all.
Yeah, I agree. So we got one more question up here. Diamond said growth. Yes, growth, definitely. How do you deal with the situation if some of these changes are deal breakers? Whoa.
Well, like I just said,
it goes back. Yeah.
You keep moving.
Yeah, I'm no expert. I'm no,
therapist. What I would do, I would talk to her about it. And if it's not clicking, then hip hop is dead. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's just period. I'm just gone.
Music, bro.
I mean, it'll probably hurt depending on how long we was.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's only gonna hurt because I'm human. So at the end of the day, but at the same time, situations change. Situations never stay the same, whether it's good or bad. Everything changes, and how this has changed. This situation is how I'm gonna move with that situation, and how I'm gonna change with that situation. That's just how it goes. And I'm doing it for the betterment of myself, and probably the betterment for her.
Right.
What I'm not clicking with, it'll probably bring her down and this and that, so she can move on and probably vibe with somebody that's on the same matrix level as hers,
And I think that's what happens. And I think that's what happens a lot of times in relationships. We stay because, like you just said, it may hurt. It hurts, or you've been with this person for so long and you like, well, I've heard people say, well, I know this beast. And it's like, well, first of all, you're calling it a beast. That's the problem there. Right. But, when you say those things like, oh, okay, you have to really have the courage to say, well, you know what? This is what you want now, and it's not what I want now. And I know we've been together for so long. And again, other things are added in it. It might be a kid or two. You might have bought a house together. You might have had those other things together in a relationship that you all did together. And you just have to have the courage to say, you know what? I wish you well. It is not as easy as I'm making it sound. Of course not. But you have to have that because, again, the longer you stay, just like he stated, the longer you stay, you're going to start to resent the person. You're going to start to hate them. So if these are deal breakers and you know that this is a deal breaker for you, it's like, man, I love you enough to say it's a deal breaker for me. It's not you. It really is me. We've heard that line in movies. It's not you, it's me. No, it really is me. This is what I realized that at this point in my life, I can't handle. I can't take. But I wish you well. And I pray that you find somebody that they're on that same, as people say, what wave is you, that y'all have. Y'all catch that together. And it's okay. And again, it's going to hurt probably both parties. But sitting down, having that conversation, saying, no, this is because what will end up happening is you resent them. And we start to treat people in a certain way. And we start opening that door for, to come on in. Good old that cheating. That other C word. That other C word gonna happen.
This is
true. The other C word. The other C word.
Sometimes those deal breakers are negotiable, like Tarik was saying too. So, like, you do have to have the conversation because it may be something that can be negotiable. I mean, to me, a deal breaker would be something that's life altering too. Like, okay, we were good. We had some changes. We're growing because we met young. You know, our careers changed, whatever. But a deal breaker to me would be like, you know, you cheated and then you got someone, you know, pregnant or whatever, something like that. You know, like something that's very life altering that I'll be like, oh my God, how can I deal with this situation? But so everybody's a different though. Somebody's deal breaker is not my deal breaker. You know what I mean? So you just have to know if you can deal with it, because some people can deal with pregnancy. I have friends that did deal with it. Like, okay, it's okay. You know, it happened. Let's, you know, this is now our family. Your family is my family. So it's up to you to want to, like I said, to me, going back to, if you really love this person, you might not have any deal breakers. You'll just learn how to maneuver with them, because it's going to be some ups and downs, and no matter what relationship or marriage you end up in.
I mean, yeah, but I think that even with loving somebody, that's not to disregard that they can't break your heart. I do believe that, you know, even though you love them, you have to make that decision. You all make that decision together, that whatever the situation was, whatever the situation is, if you're going to stay there or not, and vice versa. I think that we all have our deal breakers, and a lot of times we don't even know our deal breakers until it happens. You know, sometimes we do have like these things, like you said, Carrie, you like, I know for sure if he brings an outside baby up in here, it's a done deal. But some of us may not know what our deal breakers are, and that does sometimes contribute to the fact of how much you do love this person, or your personality as far as your forgiveness scale, you know, how you believe in forgiveness. So it just depends on you. And I just think that that's something, I think the biggest thing that, you know, I would just encourage people tonight as far as relationship goes that's watching, that you just need to understand what works for you and your relationship, and the relationship that you desire, and who it is that you're with. And what really matters most is you and that person, because we have so many outside factors that could play a role and could play a part. But at the end of the day, you two go and close your doors, whether you live together or not. But it's you two, and you all have to figure out, does this work for us, and not what may work for your girlfriend or your cousins or your sisters or your brothers or your homies or your friends. And you have to make that decision. Just like you said, you have friends who said, you know what, I'm gonna accept this baby and I'm gonna love this baby as it's mine. And you like, me, baby, bye. You know, you like, but that's not for you to say. You say, all right, girl, all right. What's his name? Okay, when is the first birthday party? All right, here we go. We coming? Sure. And you move on from it, because guess what? You don't know the steps that they took to heal, to get to that place, him and her. You don't know what they did. You don't know what they did, you know, so you just have to move on, and it's working for them.
Yeah. All right, Tarik, what's your last comment? And before we end up the night?
Man, just communication, and be honest, straightforward, honest, be transparent as possible. If you're transparent, the more transparent it is, the more you can't surprise nobody. You know what I'm saying? Just put it out there, what's going on, what you're expecting. You know, then you can't hit nobody with no surprises. You can't. I mean, I don't care what it is. It may be the worst thing on the planet, but put it out there. And at the end of the day, if you're dealing with a mature individual, they will respect you for being honest. Even though they may not like it, but at the end of the day, they respect you for being honest. Because a lot of cats can't even just say they want to see their kids without saying they have to go over their kids' house, the mother house, to go see the kids, or they have to lie and say they're picking up the kids and bringing them to their house. It's just so many situations. So it's like, just be transparent as possible. And then you expect the same thing from that person, you know?
I like it. I like both of you guys did an excellent job. I'll just add also a good point that came out of tonight is just having your checkpoints, knowing when to check back in when you have certain expectations that are not being met in your relationship. I think that was a good one that I just never thought about. having those crucial conversations and being okay with the conversation. So sometimes having a conversation needs to be had years ago would have prevented you from being in something that wasn't for you 2 years later. So having those conversations can help navigate you to the right person for you. I do believe, like, again, as I end tonight, that there is a such thing as real love. And everybody watches tonight. You can find it. Know what your non-negotiables are. Take the time to know yourself first before you get into a relationship. Know what you like, whether that's with your body, whether that's mental, spiritual. You need to know who you are so that when you're with that person, you can articulate those things to them. Because if you don't have the conversation, they won't know. Women, men cannot read our minds. Just because you come in with an attitude, you don't know what you got an attitude.
Tell them.
No, they cannot.
You have to see what's really going on and how you really feel. Don't think that they're going to figure it out. Oh, he know because I ain't wash the dishes. This mean this. No, you need to say what it is, right? What it is. Be transparent. And I'll leave it there. I'll just let you guys.
But you know what, Carrie, I was going to say, and also something that we don't do is give men grace too. There are some good men out here. Like, I think there's something else we need to really begin to push, that there are really good men out here, and there are men that we need to give grace to. You know, men have been hurt by women. You know, we've hurt their feelings at times, and understanding, like you said, that they're not mind readers. So we need to have a conversation with them and see where it is that they are in their mindset, and not being so upset, you know, when they tell you what they non-negotiables are, or when they tell you what it is that they got on their mental list, because, you know, they ain't all writing it down, but what's on their mental list.
Either you adjust or you move on. You know, I had someone do the same thing to me. Hey, I need you to check this, and that. And if I wanted to do it and I wanted to be with them, I did it. You know what I mean? If I don't want to be with you, then I ain't gonna do it. It's just simple, you know. But thank you guys so much. You can tell people where they can find you on social media, what you got coming down the pipeline, if you want to announce anything. Go ahead.
Me, what you always okay? Well,
ladies first.
You go first. Ladies first. I'm good with it. Well, you know, I guess, you know, if you want to reach me, I am at she_is_Tavie TAVIE on Instagram, and my name is Kentavia Johnson on Facebook. And I do have something coming down the pipeline. Carrie, we're gonna revisit each other again, and hopefully everyone will join us. And that's pretty much
with parents. Do you still do that? The conversation?
And so every fourth Saturday, I am part of the parent small group. I put it on my social media every fourth Saturday. So if you're a parent, it doesn't matter if you're a mother, a father, a grandparent, and you're taking care of children, you're an older sibling, and you're taking care of your younger siblings, a foster parent. We try to reach all parents. We have different topics every month. This is year, I think, 3 for us. So yeah, it's going pretty well. So I'm really excited about that. That's every fourth Saturday of the month. I think that's pretty much it.
All right, Tarik.
Okay, you all can catch me on Instagram at WOP_around. That's WOP. Do they see my name on here?
They do. Yep.
Okay, at WOP_around, WOP around. And you can catch me on Facebook as Tarik Orion Pax Causay. I'm a graphic designer if you need some graphics done. And I'm working on my t-shirt business and stuff. I got a little ideas going on. And for the ladies, I know my goals. I know what I'm looking for. Hit me up on the DM. It's fine. You know, don't let this one.
I ain't mad at you.
It's not an engagement ring. It say dad. My daughter got this for me. So
let me say something. I'm not mad about it, okay? Because that's the only way that, you know, you're going to find somebody. That's right. You better promote that you out there.
It's not the wine that's talking either. It's not the wine.
Right. And I know he's a good man because he's Aquarius. No, I'm just playing.
True.
Aquarius Nation. No, just
true. No, she's not playing. She's for real.
Oh, but yeah, I really do thank you guys. And tonight was a great conversation. Everyone knows how to follow me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, Carrie Jemii. And again, we're here every Tuesday. Typically, it's 6:30 Central Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern Time. But today we had some problems, but I'm glad it ended up turning out good. We had our greatest audience turn out today, guys. So I appreciate you guys bringing it. And till next time, everyone have a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Peace,
Good
peace,
night.